Hey everybody, hope you're doing great today. Want to share with you a very simple concept that has to do with our ability to say no to the things that are not for us and to say yes to the things that are best for us. One of the things you're going to find as you grow as an entrepreneur and as a person is you're going to have more opportunities come your way. You're going to have more chances where things could possibly turn out to be a good situation. Now, if you are an entrepreneur, you might have the ability and the tendency to see possibilities, to see what could be. And that's something that can be awesome. It can be very helpful. It can be very empowering, but it can also be very dangerous. If we don't have any filtering in place, it can become very easy for us to think that anything that comes as an opportunity is a good opportunity. So as somebody who's been an entrepreneur going on 20 plus years, I can count the number of opportunities that I've accurately seen as great opportunities. And I could double that or triple that or quadruple that to say things that I thought were going to be a good idea and turned out not to be. Now, fortunately, as the years have gone by, I've learned how to minimize my investments in things that I'm not certain about as opposed to going all in. So there's this belief in the entrepreneur world that circulates that says, if you're really passionate, if you're really powerful, you just go all in on things because you go in and that's great and that's awesome. The problem is sometimes you might have worked really hard to accumulate the things that would help you go all in. You might have worked really hard to earn the money. You might have worked really hard to find the time and to just sit there and kind of like Jack with the magic beans and the beanstalk, just throw some things, throw your money, throw your energy, throw your inspiration at something that's not going to serve you. Well, we want to be able to hedge that. We want to be able to invest, but we don't want to just throw our energy around kind of like a 2-year-old or just throwing themselves around at whatever comes their way, or like a dog chasing squirrels at whatever comes up at them. So what I'm going to suggest to you is saying no is a very powerful way to focus in your energy. And depending on your age or stage, you might or might not have experienced already that stage of life where you realize that younger people have more energy than you. Now, I'm 48. Our kids, my wife and I have kids. They're 14 and 11. They have more energy than we do. We know that. We learned that about 10 years ago. And so even with children, we have to say no to even certain battles or certain things because it's just not going to turn out in our favor. So what I'm going to suggest to you as an entrepreneur, this is going to be about you looking at where do you invest your time and where do you draw that line to where you realize, okay, yep, this is not something that I need to be doing. And so what this is going to do is help you to best decide where to put your time, your inspiration, your money, and your energy. Now, as the husband of an entrepreneur, as the wife of an entrepreneur, my wife is very clear about watching me when I get excited about things. And she's even been there in the process when I've invested in programs where she said, I'm not so sure, but I want to support you. So I'll support you. And then later the money wasn't there and the things didn't work out the way I thought. So she's become a lot clearer. She says, okay, Wade, if you're going to invest in things, I need to make sure that you're being clear about what you're investing, because some of your investments might hurt the family if you're not certain about it. And some of them might just be you kind of running in circles or getting yourself tired. So one of the first dimensions or our first 4 investments is our time. Now that's something that, again, going back to my wife, when I get really excited about something, she says, great, Wade, go invest your time in it. And if it turns out the way you think it's going to, and it starts building momentum, keep going with it. That's awesome. But hold off before you invest too much more than your time, because again, if we throw money at something and it doesn't work out, that could really hurt us. The second thing is our inspiration, our commitment, our belief that something's going to work out. Now, these first 2 are things that don't yet cost us money, and yet they can cost us confidence. They can have us feeling like an idiot in front of people if we're not filtered enough, if we're not certain enough, or maybe not certain is the word, more just measured in what we respond to. So sometimes when we go all into something, it can be embarrassing if people watch us and it doesn't work out. And that can be kind of not so good, but it becomes even worse if we've thrown a lot of money at it. And so what I'm going to suggest to you is Your time and your inspiration are going to be things that you can invest in certain projects or ideas. Your money is going to be something where in your mind you've got to look at how much money is it. If it's 5 cents or some small amount that you can afford to lose, you might say, wait, yeah, I put 5 cents into a wishing well, or I gave $1 to this charity, or I gave $5 to this homeless person. And yeah, maybe they might use it for something that I'm hoping they won't, but I'm hoping they're going to actually get themselves food or something like that. Long story short, though, as you get to higher amounts of money, you start talking hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands or whatever is a big amount for you, you might say, okay, well, then I can't be unwise about this. I have to be clear about this because it's tough enough if things don't work out when I invest my time and my inspiration. But when I invest my money, that can become more difficult. And then also our energy. And that's probably the one that feels like it's the most renewable or endless. But that's the one that very often impacts our ability to make good decisions. So when we get fatigued, we make poor decisions, we commit to things that we probably shouldn't, which creates this really not so good circle. Because what happens is we don't have the energy to think straight. We make poor decisions. We throw more of our time and our inspiration and our money at something, and it doesn't work out. We're throwing more of our energy at it, and it just goes, and it can go into this vicious cycle. And I've done that before, where all of a sudden you're investing in things that don't turn out, that don't work out, and it becomes a very low confidence cycle thing. And so what I'm going to suggest to you is if you're not certain, you can start with no, or you can start with no's cousin, which is not now. And so a lot of people have a hard time saying not now, especially if it's people that they start networking with. So anytime I've given a talk or I've had a really successful podcast episode or anything's gone really well, I'll start getting additional connections on LinkedIn. People start reaching out to me. Oh, wait, I saw you're this, I saw you're that. Great. And there's a part of me that wants to believe that every person that's connecting with me not only has good intentions for me, but also is a great match for me and that we should just work together. And it feels great. It feels expansive. It feels like all is awesome with the universe to be that way. And yet at the same time, I have to really go back to, okay, well, what is it I'm looking to do? And I have a few different business models. In this particular business model, when somebody says to me, hey, Wayne, I'd love to be on your podcast, and I start checking out their website and their LinkedIn and all the different things they're offering, I have to look at it and say, okay, I'm promising something to my audience. I'm promising something to you that I'm going to help you figure out how to help more people, make more money in less time, doing what you do best. So if that person that I'm talking to, that new connection, can bring something to that I believe they can, then I'm going to be willing to take that risk or at least explore that. Now, in my case with the podcast, I do a pre-interview. So I still like to even talk with them about 15, 20 minutes and get a sense of, are we on the same wavelength? Are they coming to serve? And I do my best to filter people. Now, sometimes you'll still find somebody that comes on a show where they get a little more sales pitchy, if you will, and they start sharing that they're just selling their stuff. And so I'll try to kind of bring them back to, hey, we're here for the audience and let's make sure we're helping people make more money in less time, do what they do best and helping more people. But overall, what I want to be able to do is understand before I put too much of any of these energies, any of my time, my inspiration, my money, my energy, do I have an idea of whether or not this opportunity is in alignment with where I'm going? And so the best way to align with that is just to say, what's your plan? Where are you looking to be in 1 year, in 3 years, in 5 years, in 10 years? There's a lot of different ways to do that. I'm not going to go into that in this one, but bottom line to get clear about, is this person or does this opportunity look to be in line with where you're already going, or somewhere that you've been talking or dreaming about going for at least 2 to 3 years? Because very often somebody comes with a new thing and it's new and it's shiny, great, let's go that direction. But you were never planning on going there in the first place. And so there's a lot of other ways to see if something's a good opportunity for you. But I'm going to suggest you to first consider and write out, what's your probable time commitment? What's your probable money commitment? And is this going to take a lot or a little of energy? Is this something that's really easy and smooth and already aligns with what you're great at? Or is this something that's going to require you kind of moving heaven and earth to make it successful? And then make that decision. So I hope you find this just initial concept helpful. If you're looking to create your plan to start optimizing your investments, you can go to 4daygameplan.com and start creating your 4-day workweek game plan to get clear about where do you want to invest your time, your inspiration, your money and your energy and create in a more filtered and fundamentally structured way based on a process that we've been doing for years to not just say, oh, I'd like to make a lot of money and help a lot of people, but to get very intentional about what that can look like and get clear about how you can strategically make that happen. So we still want to be open to life and opportunity and possibility. We still want to be able to believe that the world's a wonderful place and great things can happen. But we want to do that in a way, I'm going to suggest to you, that allows us to still be true to who we already are, be true to the people we're already serving if we already are committed to certain people. And yes, we can still grow new markets, but not losing sight of where we are, not losing sight of what we've built, and then build upon something rather than simply jumping every time some new shiny object or some new bauble, as it used to be called, or some little squirrel runs by, being clear about what we want and being able to make that happen as best as possible. So I hope you find this helpful. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know, reach out to me, and I look forward to help you make more money in less time, do what you do best as you help more people and create the life and the lifestyle you most desire for you, your loved ones, and your life. Thank you. I can't find the button. Found the button.